Well, welcome everyone to our July Greenville Hug event. Um, it's exciting for us to get to put these on every other month and kind of choose a new topic to walk through the Hubspot universe. So we're glad that you guys were all able to attend and interested in learning about the Content Hub. Um, as we're going through the presentation, if you have any comments or questions, feel free to put them in the chat. And Emilio, if you want to help me keep an eye on that while we're going
Well,
through. All right. So today we're walking through HubSpot's Content Hub and the implications for B2B marketers, but there's definitely takeaways for all marketers in general. I'm joined today with Emilio Garcia, and then my name is Miranda Jenkins, and we are both from Boundify, which is a demand generation agency here in Greenville, South Carolina. So today we'll kind of walk through an introduction and an overview of the Content Hub and its features, the implications it has for marketers, and then how to utilize the Content Hub for creating content and managing content. So just getting started, what is HubSpot's Content Hub? It is an AI-powered, all-in-one content marketing software that can help marketers create and manage content that's designed for every step in the customer journey. So I'm sure we all know as marketers that this is the age of content creation. We need to create more content than ever and ensure that the content we're creating is tailored to each point in the buying journey. And the content that we're creating is really the first touch point that we're having with our customers and potential customers. That's kind of like the first thing that they're seeing of your brand. And so we need to make sure that that content can be distributed among all of the channels where those potential customers are living. So an all-in-one platform like Content Hub can help streamline that process. So what are some of the implications for B2B marketers? Well, the beauty of an all-in-one content marketing software is just that it's all in one. I'm sure we all are familiar with having a ton of platforms that we're living on, having to remember the password for every single platform that we're living on. And so having a platform where you can perform all of those tasks for creating and managing content in one space can be helpful to kind of streamline the content creation process. And then next, Content Hub utilizes AI, and that can help take some of the workload off your plate. But if there's one thing we know about AI, it takes some training before it can actually be an assistant to your work. And there's some features we'll get into with Content Hub that can kind of help train the AI feature in Content Hub to be more helpful for you as a marketer.
I want to interrupt you and ask the audience right now, how many of you have used any AI feature inside HubSpot? Especially those that maybe have already upgraded or changed to Content Hub. It will be interesting to know if you're using any feature. But even if you haven't, I'm sure you have seen sprinkle around the platform AI features. So if you have used some, put in the chat which ones, and if you have found them useful or any insight that you might have will be helpful for everyone.
Yeah, definitely. So some of the features of Content Hub that can help you create content is the AI Copywriter, which is a new feature of Content Hub from when it was formerly the CMS. You can still sync your lead capture with the CRM, and then the content remix feature, which is also new, and the feature to maintain brand voice with AI. So the AI Copywriter is, like we talked about, it's a feature of the AI platform directly integrated in to Hubspot. So it can help generate the content that you're producing, whether it's copy for a blog post, for a social media post, an email to customers. The software you can put in a prompt similar to other AI platforms, and the software will generate the content that you ask for. A use case that we see helpful for this feature is it helps you kind of get started with projects that maybe you don't know quite where to begin. So say you're writing a blog post, if you put in to the AI copywriter that you want to produce a blog post outline for such and such topic, it will produce a high performing title suggestion for you that will be SEO optimized, and then the outline for your blog post to kind of give you a basis to jump off of. The next feature is the content remix feature. So with this feature, you can take a piece of existing content that you've created. So say you use the AI copywriter to create a blog post about HubSpot Content Hub. And then you can take that blog post and use the content remix feature to transform it into a bunch of different formats of content, and then spread it out among your channels. So you can take that blog post and transform it into ad copy or an email to go out to customers or a social media post. And the AI feature will automatically rework that content so that it's in the format and structure that it needs to be for each different platform. So this can be really helpful for smaller marketing teams, or if you're probably the vast majority of marketers where you are the single marketer for the company, it can be really helpful to allow you to repurpose content more easily if you kind of follow that structure of having a pillar content topic each month and then repurposing that among the different channels. This feature can really speed up that process for you and automate that process. And then the next feature is maintaining brand voice with your AI generated content. I think this feature is really cool because what it allows you to do is go into the back end of HubSpot and input descriptive words of like how you would describe your brand voice, and then you can feed historical content in for the AI to analyze and use to inform the content that it generates in the future. So if you have a blog post that you've written, you can feed it in and the AI will analyze it, and then it kind of helps take the AI sounding part of using AI platforms where it sounds like ChatGPT wrote it. It helps kind of bridge that gap a little bit where it's not starting from scratch every time. It's actually using your content to write the content it's producing. And this can be helpful whether you're a large team where you have a lot of different people working on creating content, it can kind of help create that consistency and have a basis for your brand voice to make sure everything stays consistent. But then it also can be helpful if you are a single marketer or a small marketing team where you are utilizing AI more to help generate the content. It can help the first draft of the content that the AI is producing be more consistent with your brand. And then the features for managing content are analytics and reporting, which already existed in the CMS. And then the new features with Content Hub are video and podcast hosting, and then the content embed feature.
And I'm gonna intervene here because Tia is asking, and I think it's a question of probably a lot of people in right now in the chat is what features are already available and which features are truly, do you have to get a special package? And so I want to share with everyone the features that we're marking here as new are only available in Content Hub, which is the rebranded version of content of the CMS. And that's pretty much the idea, right? The part of the reason of the rebranding is that the CMS has been seen historically as if not a replacement, something similar to what you will have on WordPress, really focus on the blog content and yes, web pages and landing pages, but not necessarily the place where you manage content, which is great that we have this slide here, because typically those are the two functions that you will have on the CMS. You will have a place where you create the content and then a place where you manage what happens after you have created the content. So the features that we're marking here as new, and you will have this presentation at the end of the event, you can only access through Content Hub. Those of you that never had the CMS, that's the only thing that you will see on your options for upgrade. You will only see Content Hub. Those of you that already have the CMS, you will have to upgrade, and typically there's going to be an increase on your monthly subscription from your current CMS to Content Hub, and that will enable these features that Miranda is sharing. That's one, and the other one that probably makes a ton of sense. We will make a summary at the end, but it's always important to see if you truly have a use for one of these agents, right? I've been following Dharmesh for a little while in his little experiment around agents for AI, and I see these features as name agents, right? Where you put a layer of software so you can ask AI a very specific way, a question all the time. If you as a marketer struggle to working directly with ChatGPT, which is too broad, too open, right? It can do so much or anything that when you want to narrow it down, you might struggle with consistent prompt to get a similar result all the time. So I think these features allowed you to get to something like having the small agents within Hubspot to accomplish those things.
Awesome. So then we'll jump into the video and podcast hosting feature. So with this feature now directly in the HubSpot Content Hub section, you can record podcast episodes and then embed the video and podcast content directly into the pieces of content you're putting out, whether it's your emails or on your social media channels. And then it has that reporting feature built in so that you can see the reports of each episode that you put out and see the impact that your video is making. One thing we will note about this feature is It's great if you are, this is a great feature if you're getting into podcasting and kind of starting out and wanting to dip your toe in the water. But it is a fairly new platform, and it's kind of the bare bones of a podcast hosting platform. So if you've been doing podcasting for a long time, there are podcast hosting platforms that are probably more robust than this one, but it's great if when you're just getting started out and you want to simplify having one platform where you're recording post-production tasks and distributing the content is all happening in one place. And then the content embed feature, this allows you to create content in HubSpot, but then directly integrate it into a WordPress site without having to use coding or design. This is great for the marketers who are utilizing HubSpot but are still heavily invested in WordPress and are still hosting their website on WordPress and haven't migrated fully over to HubSpot, because it allows you to take advantage of embedding those small pieces of content like a form, a blog post, a newsletter sign up, things like that, into your WordPress site, but then you get to see the analytics and the reporting and take advantage of the tracking features in HubSpot. So all in all, HubSpot's Content Hub features can help streamline your work and maximize your content's potential. And while it may not be the best fit for everyone, the opportunities that are available if you're already using HubSpot definitely are worth looking into. And then we will walk through the platform real quick, just to kind of click around and let you see where everything lives. And then if you have any questions, again, put them on the chat and Amelia will keep an eye out for them.
It's demo time.
Yeah.
Yes. Let's see this in action.
All right. So here we have your HubSpot kind of homepage, and this is our demo account. So it's a little bit empty, bare bones. So bear with us as we're trying to explain these features. But if you come over here on the side to content, you can see some of the features, and you'll see the podcast is in beta, the embeds is new, and all that. And you can click on it and see, this is the one that I had started creating to show an example. And so you have your option here, your menu of options, where you can put in the different, this works really similar to the email feature in HubSpot. If you're familiar with building out the emails, it has the different content cards that you can drag over and add in. So if I were to take a call to action button, I can pull it over in right there and then edit it, edit the style, all that jazz. And then we've got the content remix feature. So this is where you can add content. So you can pick from your blog post or a landing page you have.
I added to the sample blog, I added just some text, so it would.
Oh, okay, perfect. This one.
Something.
Okay. So now we've got our blog post, and then you can click this feature similar to like the structure of the campaign. If you're building out a campaign in HubSpot or a workflow, it reminds me of that. But then you can check the pieces of content that you want to remix that blog post. So you can turn it into an image, an audio file, an ad, social media post, and then oh, it looks like I need to connect an ad account to be able to generate it. So we will.
Yeah, I just added the image and landing page and the email, because yes, both the social post and the ad will request connections to existing accounts.
Okay, so you said you did the email, the landing page, and the image?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We'll just get it so it can get to the generate point. There we go. And then you can see the AI feature is working through to repurpose that piece of content. And then you can go in and directly edit each piece of content separately as well. So it doesn't have to be final. You can go back in and edit and tweak it. But it does a lot of the initial work for you, and then you can go in and tailor it how you want to. And then the podcast platform, you can start out creating a podcast with a title, a description, create a host. You can upload a piece of artwork, or you can generate using the AI image generator feature. And then you can add it to a category. We're not doing explicit content. And then start to create that show. Which we don't have that quite set up on our back end yet. And then I'll show you real quick where the brand voice feature is, where you can enter in. So you'll go to the settings right up here on the top. You'll go to account defaults. You'll go right up here to branding, my brand kit. And then right here, you'll see brand voice on this tab right here. And you can start to generate your brand voice. So you can put in a writing sample. There's all these options. You can put in example social post, your website content, newsletter, and then write out the description of your target audience. And then it will generate your the write-up of your brand voice and an example piece of content that the AI wrote in what it thinks your brand voice is. And you can review and edit that further. And then once you get it to the point where it's where you want it to be, you can save it as your brand voice, and it'll stay in those feature in that that setting, and use it anytime it's creating content from then on.
This feature in particular is one of those examples where I was saying, where you were saying, Miranda, right, that it will not apply to everyone, but it's similar to other features in HubSpot. For example, the SEO suggestions, right, for the expert, the seasoned SEO experts. Those recommendations will feel too, scripted, maybe not as advanced as some of the things that they will know. I think for companies where they have a well-documented brand voice, brand guidelines, this will feel like too basic. But I think it will allow you to at least make sure that every time that you are creating content from zero or outlines from zero using AI, you don't get this, as you were saying, right, average kind of outline and content, because at least you can pre-prompt, this is how we speak, right, with examples, not just from our guidelines. But for beginner users, I think is great because it forces you to start answering some basic questions, right?
Mhm.
Are you talking to? Is there any style that you want to adopt? And I think these features will, for marketers that you're starting and thinking about things like how do we present our content out there, guide you through some of the questions that you need to answer, even if you haven't documented before. So I think that's also a great way to start taking advantage of these features.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so that is kind of the layout where you can find everything, and see some of the features. Do we have no questions coming through yet?
Yeah, I've been, so far questions has been around how do you get access? Again, answering that, you get it through directly. You have never used HubSpot CMS.
Mm-hmm.
It will show up as an option. Is a new hub, but it's replacing the CMS hub. So typically, the way that you go to HubSpot CMS is because either you are thinking about migrating your website, is the the more radical activity or action that you will take. Typically, something simpler like starting a blog, right? So that's one key entry point for Content Hub. But nowadays, as I was asking you there, maybe you are not starting with a HubSpot content with a blog. You already have one there, maybe on your current CMS. You're thinking about starting a podcast or starting a video series. And in those cases, while not as mature as dedicated tools, the podcast feature can allow you to just start a podcast, start distributing to podcast clients across different platforms, and have a place where you can put the transcript, maybe some titles and all that. And the same applied to video. Is not as good, I will say, because you have to upload the videos one by one, and there's not technically a feature where you can organize them as a channel.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not as great. There, Wistia or tools probably are going to be a better match. But that's one entry point to Content Hub. And then the other one, the ones that we were saying, is all about how do you extend and manage that content. So if you have a need to, once you create a piece of content, whatever the medium, to repurpose it for other things, I think that's another great entry point. And obviously, overall, the AI aspect of it, right? If you have a team that needs to amplify their efforts without necessarily increasing headcount as much, it can be a great entry point. Another question that we have from Ala, I answered specifically what she asked, but I will share with you the answer in general. For the embeds, the styling of forms, buttons, how the general layout is no different from the way that you create landing pages and blog posts and web pages. You either pick free included themes from the template marketplace, I think it's called now, or you download additional themes. There's free versions of them, there's paid versions of them. Typically, you will style the theme to match that WordPress website that you're gonna put the content, right? So you will match brand colors, logos, all of that, and style as much as possible. And with that styling, everything that you drag and drop into that embed will match the style of your HubSpot theme. And then you can put an embed into your WordPress website. And again, it's not for everybody. I think if you have a simple WordPress website, and especially if you are not as technical as some other users and struggle to keep up with plugins and security and speed optimizations and all of that, I think it's great to just migrate to Content Hub. Typically, there's a service used to be free, now it's paid, but it's very practical. There's a service to migrate the look and feel of your current website into Content Hub, Hubspot Content Hub. So you don't suffer on a migration that is also a redesign. You just migrate the content as it is. It will look like the website that you have. And then you can later on work on a redesign project using one of the free themes, a paid one, or using an agency to build something bespoke. But in some cases, you have already invested a ton in WordPress, right? You might have multiple microsites, or there are some key features that are not still available in HubSpot, and you want to go beyond forms, because typically what you can embed in the past was just embedding forms, which is super helpful, and embedding some call to actions. So for the case where you feel more comfortable creating new content on HubSpot, or there are some key things that you want to make sure that you track properly beyond adding a form, I think embeds can be a good compromise as you move. And my suggestion always is, if you want to prove to your organization that now Content Hub can be something helpful for your marketing activities in the long run, start with landing pages. That, for me now, embeds, right, will be the minimum. Start with embeds. But if you start creating whole pages on HubSpot, start with landing pages. I think it's very safe. Most of them will not index. Most of them will be used for paid campaigns. Then you can start with a content hub, right, or a value loop, or a pillar content. So it used to be blog, right? Start a new blog there, different from the one that you had on your current website, or better yet, to start a podcast, to start a video series hosted on HubSpot. And eventually then you can make the case for migrating the website pages. That will be the final one, if you want to take it little by little and reduce the risk.
Tori's asking, she says, we have Content Hub Professional. I'm interested in seeing if it's possible to display custom content specific to the logged in user. Is it possible to use smart content for pages, display different versions of your content based on CRM data? We want to use memberships to be our dealer portal. Is it possible to show different content to the logged in dealer? Example, show their company's deals.
Oh, that's a great question. That might be another great use. To be honest, I don't want to lie and say yes for sure. It should. It should bring in all the features from one of the benefits of content, or the CMS is still the ability to change what you show depending on who is visiting, using the information from the CMS. So I will be surprised if it doesn't on the embeds. And if you have memberships, then to log sections of the content based on the membership. But I don't know the answer for sure. I don't want to lie on that one, Tori. So let us, pull back, confirm that actually can be done. And I can send you, a direct message there, or put it as an answer on the email that we will send with the recap. Great question. I think if it's possible right now, instead of something that we can be done in the future, that's another great reason to use embeds. Because if you have a piece of content that you want to customize based on the life cycle stage, right? If it's a customer or not, or if it's a piece of content that is part of want to make part of a membership or protected from access, but you don't want to do all of that, build all of that on WordPress, you can use Embed to accomplish that.
All right, I'll show real quick at the end of our slideshow that will be included in the follow-up email after. I've included some links to some information, some articles and some blog posts, and then some links to the HubSpot Academy that can kind of help you get started with Content Hub and answer some more of those questions. Our next Greenville Hug event that's coming up will be in September, Thursday, September 12th, and it will be about mastering the HubSpot CRM, a seamless transition and effective setup.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining today. We really enjoyed our time speaking with you all, and we hope you join us for our September one.
Yeah, looking forward to that one. All right. Everyone have a great day. Thank you, Miranda.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.